What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to MANIACITV, man. Today, we got his game over for Young Thug and YSL from the Insider Hotspot YouTube channel. 2022 was a crazy year, man. Crazy year. Of course, the YSL Rico indictment and just the circumstances. The YSL Rico indictment was crazy in itself, but as we've been seeing these last couple of weeks, man, the plea deals being taken, the confirmation of the alleged gang organization that YSL is, allegedly, is out there in the open, being admitted by members of YSL, the record label, such as Gunna. Honestly, bro, I think it's over. Now, even if Young Thug in some way beat this case, not only will he be goated, but I don't think he'll ever be able to be cool with a lot of his people again. Now, I know a lot of people had a theory, maybe Thug telling him to take these plea deals, man. But from that footage I seen the other day of Thug in court and the look on his face when he found out that they all was taking pleas, I don't think things will ever be the same again at YSL. But nonetheless, we're going to check this out and see what this is all about. Let's get it.
What's the drill? Back with another video, man. Recently, rappers have been receiving charges like Willy Wonka's golden tickets, but those tickets lead to a chocolate factory don't nobody want to go to, you dig? Recently, Atlanta's rap crew YSL, home to Young Thug and Gunna, were hit with the dreaded Rico. That's the charge that separates the boys from the men. Gunna, however, was freed on December 14, 2022 after admitting his guilt to a single racketeering charge and was given a 5-year sentence with 1 year commuted and time served and the remaining 3 years suspended subject to probation requirements, including 500 hours of community service.
This what I be telling niggas, bro. You facing the Rico indictment, you plead guilty to the Rico indictment. You get out with 5 years with a year credited and 500 hours of community service. He telling. I'm not going to sugarcoat like, man, listen. This is why the whole industry so quiet right now. Like, let's look at it for what it is. It's telling. I know people can say it's a plea deal. It don't necessarily mean, bro, it's on footage. Whoever recorded that did Gunna wrong. I ain't going to lie. Because if that footage never came out, it would have been... it still would have been kind of sketchy that he only got, so little of time, but it would have looked a little better than him, admitting YSL's a gang. He knows he got intel about, what they've been doing. It would have looked better at that point, man, but we got to look at it for what it is. We can't play favorites. He told. Simple as that, man.
News of Gunna's release, as well as the release of Slime Life Shorty, questions have been raised as to whether or not Gunna actually snitched on his partners. Today, we break down the ins and outs of the latest to the situation of this YSL saga. So without further ado, let's skip the play and get down to business. Young Thug, actual name Jeffrey Williams, was detained earlier this year during a raid on an Atlanta home after being accused of engaging in criminal activities that, according to the prosecution, violate Georgia's RICO laws. Around the same time, Gunna was also taken into custody. In the indictment papers, Thugger is listed as one of the founding members of the YSL Young Slime Life organization. Rap lyrics have long been cited by American prosecutors as potential evidence of court proceedings, aiding in the conviction of rappers. However, the contentious practice didn't gain true notoriety until recently with Young Thug and Gunna's arrest, as well as the recent RICO charges given to other rappers. The use of lyrics in their indictment has been met with much pushback by freedom of speech advocates who openly support legislation that aims to curtail the practice.
We have this artistic freedom of expression, and obviously that's something that the courts have always tried to preserve and protect. And so if we cannot speak freely, if something that we creatively express can be used against us in a court of law, then that's certainly going to silence a lot of people.
And that's why initially I said Gunna should be good. When it first came out, it was like, well, they got the Fox 5 song with Gunna and the lyrics he said. I'm like, man, that's all they got is lyrics. Like, Gunna, like, man, just take what they gonna give you, they ain't got nothing crazy against you. You ain't got to say a word to these folks. It's a quick in and out for Gunna. I just don't understand though, like, why it had to get to the point. And I get, you know, I mean, this is not a Fed case, it's a state case. But I get police and them people, the DA, they can get very, I say, manipulative in a way. They could toy with you, like, oh, we'll send you home, but you gotta promise to tell us something. Even though Gunna could have really stood his ground and be like, man, I have no idea what y'all talking about. I am a rapper, I am a recording artist. That was my freedom of speech. You cannot hold that against me. I thought that's the time that Gunna would have been on.
Indictment claimed that Gunna owned substances to distribute, including methamphetamine, marijuana, and hydrocodone, and that he also acquired stolen property. The wild thing is that song lyrics weren't the only entertainment job-related evidence that was used. Social media-based posts, items of apparel, and accessories with slime images on them were also used. A few people were also accused of committing violent crimes, such as attempted armed robbery and hit before the Fulton County Grand Jury in Atlanta. I believe this to be the reason that Young Thug and Gunna had previously received numerous denials of their bond. Prior to Gunna's release, his Fulton County District Attorney, Fonnie Willis's open disdain for the collective has been well televised and documented.
I've made no secret about it, nor any apology, that as the District Attorney of Fulton County, my number one focus is targeting gangs. It does not matter what your notoriety is, what your fame is. If you come to Fulton County, Georgia, and you commit crimes, and certainly if those crimes are in furtherance of a street gang, that you are going to become a target and a focus of this district attorney's office, and we are going to prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law.
The media coverage of the case has caused a bit of a stir in the hip-hop scene, where many have argued that this trial is merely the most recent example of the criminal justice system unjustly linking rappers to violent crimes through their art. Thug was charged with 7 additional offenses following the May 9th arrest, according to reports of a police raid on his Buckhead home. The added-on charges include 3 counts of being employed or connected to a criminal street gang to carry out or take part in criminal gang activity through the commission of a crime, and several other charges. Things were looking grim for the whole camp, and as each month went on, matters only seemed to get worse. Every headline about this case has up to this point seemed to take away hopes of a silver lining for the Atlanta crew. However, on December 14, 2022, a little over 7 months after his May arrest, Gunna was suddenly released from jail after 3 denials and pleading guilty per the rules of an Alford plea deal. That enables him to admit guilt if it's in his best interest while preserving his innocence to a racketeering conspiracy charge.
Gunna entered what's known as an Alford plea in connection with 1 count in the Rico Act case against him. Metro Atlanta attorney Ryan Greathouse says in simple terms, it's a type of guilty plea.
Where a criminal defendant is ultimately saying, I don't agree with the facts as they're alleged. I maintain that I'm innocent. However, I believe that it's in my best interest to go ahead, plead guilty.
Young Thug was detained on May 9th, making his total time up till now more than 200 days locked up. I swear time flies, man. When Gunna looked back on his time with YSL, he said he became affiliated with YSL in 2016. He did not consider it.
So pretty much with Gunna though, like I said, I ain't a court guru. I don't know. So pretty much with Gunna. So once the trial does start, I feel like, I mean, and I saw something in paperwork that got put out on the internet regarding Gunna, was that if called upon, they want him to testify. Yes, he can plead the 5th. He protects himself and his innocence. But, you know, he could still probably tell these folks what's going on, what he knows, while protecting himself. If they ask him, well, okay, so what was your role in this? He could say, I plead the 5th. I ain't got nothing. I am not incriminating myself. I plead the 5th. Other folks, I could tell you about them, but I plead the 5th. Is that how it's going to work with Gunna? Y'all let me know something.
The gang, more like a group of people from Metro Atlanta with shared interests and artistic aspirations. His focus on YSL was entertainment. He said he cherishes his association with YSL music and always will. The rapper emphasized that despite agreeing to the plea deal, he hadn't worked with the prosecution to have Young Thug or the other people named in the indictment convicted. Which brings us to the now infamous video of Gunna being questioned in court following the news that he would be released from jail. The video footage of the rapper taking his plea deal has been released per WSB-TV. In the vid, he acknowledges when he first started to rock with YSL.
Yes, ma'am.
I became affiliated with YSL around 2016. Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens?
Yes, ma'am.
This was a simple enough question and was seemingly harmless. Although he wasn't just associated with them, he was employed and rescued by them in a way. They got him out the hood and put him in a position to be a fixture in the music game as one of the top artists of the decade thus far. He was the #1 artist next to Thugger and received all the benefits of being a part of the collective.
But that's why, like, when it first came out and I did the video on Gunna, I'm like, you know, and I started looking at people's theories of maybe Thug told him to take it, and this was before everybody else took the plea, and I was like, it would make sense for Thug to tell Gunna to take it because Gunna, their sole purpose with Gunna is to make him a star. I don't think Gunna was out there doing anything that YSL is being, you know, allegedly accused of doing. You know, he ain't out there doing any of that. Gunna is a rapper. He is, you know, he's the cash cow for YSL right now. You know, he sold more albums first week than Young Thug did first week. And they albums dropped like 3 months apart from each other. Gunna is, I say Gunna was the image for YSL, the record label. But him admitting that YSL is a street gang, that's tough, man. That's crazy. I don't think Thug would have wanted him to do that because Thug's defense was steadily saying that YSL is not a street gang. YSL is a way of life. It's a record label. It's a business, LLC. It's a company. I'm the CEO of that company is what Thug was trying to get across. We got this aspiring artist, and maybe, you know, Thug had it in his heart, like, you know, I don't want Gunna to go through this, but I don't know. But it's like, as the more the details come out and the more people that take these pleas, I'm like, ain't no way Thug is telling all these people that. And it still don't make it right. Even if he is, it still don't make it right because they telling these people a little too much about YSL. Or at least in Gunna's case, he is.
It seems like all of that history doesn't mean much to him when faced with the consequences of his alleged actions, because he also confirmed that YSL is a record label and a gang. Goodness. See, the way the questions are being worded kind of plays chess with Thugger's side of the defense. To the average person, it would appear as if Gunna was just answering simple questions so that he can go through the motions and go home. But there's something much more sinister at play here if you listen closely.
I became affiliated with YSL around 2016. Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens?
Yes, ma'am.
YSL is a music label and a gang, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Now, they knew what they were doing. YSL is a record label and a gang. What is Gunna supposed to say in the court of law? Well, YSL is a label but not a gang. Now the judge gonna be hot. Judge might just say, fuck it. Throw his ass back in the cell. Throw his black ass back in the cell. So yeah, he gonna say, yes, man, they set this man up for failure. They set him up for failure in the grand scheme of things with just how they worded them questions.
That members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was all pretty much one question. So it's like Gunna couldn't disagree with one part of her question if he wanted to, or else he wouldn't have been coming home. You know, I don't know, man. I don't think he was going to put himself through more stuff over this. I'm telling you, these courts is grimy, man. They grimy.
Gunna still says that he is innocent despite the plea. The rapper has the option of pleading the fifth, but he is required to take the witness stand if called to testify in court under the terms of the agreement. He agreed to have his 5-year sentence reduced to time served and 500 hours of community service. Unfortunately, though, Young Thug is awaiting his trial in January from behind bars. According to Fulton County court documents, a Georgia judge maintained January 9th, 2023 is the trial start date despite attempts by the prosecution to have it moved to March 2023. As a part of Gunna's probation, he is also not allowed to carry a gun during his sentence. If he violates the plea agreement's terms, the district attorney has the right to revoke his suspended sentence. And being that he's a rapper, these are going to be some pretty tough terms to try to adhere to. Seeing all of that is one thing though, but what's really crazy is that Young Thug and his team were allegedly blindsided by Gunna's decision to cop a plea deal. During a recent Clubhouse chat, Wack 100 claimed that Team Thugger had no idea Gunna would take a plea deal that would ultimately lead to his release.
Well, Michael, what?
They had no idea that dude was about to do that. That ain't nothing Thug told him to do. That ain't Thug them knew he was gonna do. His management, the attorneys, nobody communicated shit. They found out when we found out.
Sure, I guess we could take this bit of info with a grain of salt, but I ask you all this though. If you were Young Thug and you were being painted as a kingpin, would you want your co-defendants taking pleas without you knowing? And why would you agree to such a thing? One bright spot for Jeffrey, however, is the recent evidence victory that his defense team scored in December of this year. Fulton County Judge Uriel Glanville sided with Thugger at a court hearing on Thursday, December 15th, when he ruled that the evidence seized during the raid of his house can't be used against him in the upcoming trial. The defense argued the search was illegal and expressed concerns about the validity of the warrants or if any actually existed. Thug's attorney requested that all of the property that was seized be returned to Thug, which includes a cell phone, computer, and a small amount of herb. Prosecution intended to use evidence found in the cell phone against the YSL rapper in next month's trial, but that won't be the case anymore.
A judge making the ruling that cell phones and other evidence collected from the rapper's home during a raid could not be
big, so they can't use text messages, they can't use
as evidence in his upcoming trial next month.
This is a huge win for Mr. Williams because there was no telling what was in that phone. It's hard to say what this really means, but this is one of the first things in the case that was actually in favor for Young Thug. He's gonna need all the help he can get because based on the last events involving YSL members, Thugger is being passively left out to dry. As of now, 4 well-known members of YSL have entered into plea deals, including Gunna. About the same time that Gunna was released, YSL artist Slime Life Shawty requested an Alford plea as well. The 24-year-old pleaded guilty as a first offender to 1 count of conspiracy to violate the Rico Act. The plea got him a sentence of 10 years total, with 1 year commuted as time served and the other 9 years being on probation. YSL Lil Duke was simultaneously getting the same deal and skipping off into the sunset. Yet the latest of the free slimes is actually Young Thug's own brother, Unfunk. Quantavious Greer pleaded guilty to 1 count of violating Rico Act and 1 count of theft by receiving stolen property. Greer accepted a 12-year sentence with 2 years commuted to time served and 10 years probation. As a part of his deal, he must not have any contact with his brother Young Thug and other defendants until the case is over. Greer must also perform 750 hours of community service, abide by a 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew, and cannot have a gun. If he is called by any party, the deal states that Greer must testify.
The thing is, man, okay, so if he violates it, he has to testify, but Gunna's is he has to testify if they want him to. So this is why I said, like what I said in the beginning of this video, I feel like it'll never be the same again. It won't be the same again. YSL as we know it will never be the same again. I feel like if Thug does beat this case, I think Thug is gonna get out. He gonna do his own thing. I don't think he's gonna walk away from music. He gonna do his own thing, but I don't think he'll ever associate with the people he once associated with. If we being honest, I don't think we'll ever see Thug and Gunna on a song ever again. And if we see Thug and Gunna on a song together, man, I will go in the middle of the mall and shave my head bald if we ever see Young Thug and Gunna together again. If they do any type of business together again, I will go to the middle of my mall with wireless clippers and shave my head bald. That's how confident I am that this will never be the same again.
Wow, man. Something about that just doesn't sound right. But anyways, Gunna said that while he has agreed to be truthful with authorities, he made it clear that he has not made any statements.
Gunna and his legal team released this statement saying in part, while I have agreed to always be truthful, I want to make it perfectly clear that I have not made any statements, have not been interviewed, have not cooperated, have not agreed to testify or be a witness for or against any party in the case, and have absolutely no intention of being involved in the trial process in any way.
That's cool, but if they want your ass, they getting your ass, boy. They getting your ass to get on that stand.
Slime Life Shawty has made a statement on IG about not making a statement or being hot whatsoever, but unfortunately, based on the video clip and the numerous pleas, a majority of people online would say that the damage is already done in terms of how the case affects Young Thug. I mean, after Gunna answered those questions, what else is there really for the feds to know? If they already have other witnesses and have been piling evidence for 10 years, Gunna really doesn't need to say anything else, especially if there are multiple people admitting participation.
But do you think that these folks would pass up the opportunity to have Young Thug's right hand man, his main artist, to take the stand just to fuck with him even more? Y'all think that they would really pass that up? No.
Or acknowledgement of crimes. You hate to see that a music powerhouse such as YSL fall to this kind of fate, but hey, this is what comes with the game, man. Will it be game over for Thugger and others? We just gonna have to wait and see in January. And of course, we gonna keep y'all updated. In the meantime, stay smart, stay alert, and stay real. I'm out, y'all.
Well, how y'all think this gonna play out? Sound off in the comment section down below, man. It's game over for Young Thug and YSL from Inside the Hotspot. Link down below in the description for y'all to check this out in its entirety with no interruptions. Y'all new to the channel, y'all rock with me, want daily reaction videos, hit that subscribe button, follow me to the next video. I'll see y'all then. Thank you for watching MANIACITV. I'm out.